Oh my
Okay.
Thank you for accepting me, guys.
So I tried Fimbulwinter Shaco.
Oh yeah.
The shields are very minuscule compared to Seraph's Embrace. Like, and it just feels like they're a lot more frequent.
Right.
I'll give it that. So they might add up over time, but like it's just like Seraph's Shield. I would say if Seraph's Shield is 100%, then Fimbulwinter's Shield, even with people around, is at best like a 15% of a full Seraph's Embrace Shield.
Well, how did HP feel?
It made me tankier, but I felt like it was kind of useless because I'm not really accustomed to putting myself in like in a position where I'm threatening my HP really. I like to play with fire obviously, but it doesn't seem as useful as like AP or even mana would have been.
Okay. Did you try the Cosmic Drive?
Yes, the Cosmic Drive is something that I have tried before,
Right.
and I really like it because it gives me mobility and like quick
25.
in and outs. It's nice.
Yep, 25 each.
And so it's something that I normally I started doing it before I did the Horizon thing, whatever the fuck it's called, that item.
Yeah.
So I did that prior to that, but then I was like, why don't I just go like Imperial Mandate? And then I got into the double Phoenix Codex build, and I was like, boom, man, this is so many boxes early on. Like, I can actually defend my 80 carry without dying out of mana, so it was like, that just felt much easier in regards to like providing a safing laning phase for the 80 carry.
Okay.
Or even just zoning in objective. So I think, like, depending on what we want to do early on, like, Phoenix Codex, the double Phoenix Codex rush is good, and then I can go into either finishing the Seraphs or building Cosmic Drive. But because it's a double Phoenix Codex, it's difficult to, like, that's not cheap, you know what I mean? And so it delays my first item spike quite a bit if I don't finish Seraphs or if I don't finish the Cosmic Drive, since I'm not finishing Horizon Focus or whatever that item's called.
Right. Okay. Yeah, sounds good, man. We'll talk about it a little bit more later. It sounds like a lot of promise.
Yep.
Okay. Gentlemen, let's start talking about Vod Review here. So this is game 1. Alongside the Vod Review, which is, of course, talking a little bit more about the strategy, what we could have done, what we could have done differently, etc., etc. I'll talk a little bit more about the basics of competitive, just for swag. This is going to be a little bit of a crash course for him to get deeper into what we already know as teammates and setup and players here, part of this organization. Okay, so game 1. Let's talk about the draft first. I think this is a really good warning about the kind of compositions that we could find ourselves getting into. And what I mean by that is centered around this mid pick. So I'll talk about a separate issue about drafts right after this one. The first thing I want to point out is that our compositions are going to be really, really, really centered around a mid. I already talked about that as like a core concept, but this is going to be extremely true for the next several weeks until our mid pool becomes a little bit more flexible, a little bit more robust here. So the kind of compositions that we can really expect to try out and really succeed with are mage compositions. We get the Victor Vigar early. We can play a scaling on mid with a little bit of early game on our side lane. Have a really good standard front to back, with that control mage on mid. Then we're going to have compositions with a split pusher. So that's going to be like that Yone matchup, right? Where we can take Scion, we can take Renekton, and then we can fit in with the rest of the team. And that way we'll have our mid laner be that side lane threat. And then we have that third option. That's the tank mid, right? The Galio, the Malphite, those kind of options. That'll give us a little bit more skirmishing, very jungle focused, right? If we have a tank in the mid lane that doesn't care too much about how many waves they pick up or whatever, and they're free to start sacrificing some of that lane priority to help us out on the side lanes, okay, that's gonna look pretty good. So those are our kind of 3 different compositions that we need to be rotating around. In the past, we've had a lot more flexibility, kind of picking whatever composition we want, because Cobra would be like, hey, yeah, I'll play this. Yeah, I'll play that. Boom. Talia, slammed. Boom. Oriana, slammed, etc., etc. So until we can get to that precision, we're going to be really focused around that mid pool. Now we'll talk about the other thing about draft. One of the big conversations that we had while we were in draft was, hey, we don't have enough MP, we don't have enough AP, we don't have enough AP. So that was a good point, 100%. That is definitely something to be concerned about, making sure our damage profile is diverse and spread out enough that they can't just lock in a specific tank and fuck us over. So that was really good. The downsides of that kind of conversation is it's a perfect example of some of the kind of mistakes and some of the kind of problems that put me, or that played on my weaknesses about being in draft and then overcompensating what we need to be doing, and overcompensating to the extent that we break down what we're supposed to be doing, right? Because I think in that kind of scenario, we'd be like, hey, we need more AP, we need more AP. And then all of a sudden we're picking Gwen on top side. And I think that choice there in this composition would have made this draft a lot scarier for us. You know, we don't have that consistent front line. We don't have someone that could, you know, be there to block these shots and to force fights and to engage while also relieving a lot of pressure on the sideline in a box kiss like role. So this is a really good example. It's a warning, but it's also a good example of having one person, having me have more authority in these kind of scenarios allows us to kind of mitigate some of the risks of tunnel visioning on 1 or 2 different dimensions that are going to cause us some problems. So 2 big notes for that draft.
I just want to say that, like, if you want to go at that angle, I think you also need to be more clear as to, like, who should be the AP. Because, like, I'll be honest, I could not like side lane that game into the Cho'Gath because he had like 4 armor items. So my side lane pressure was like mitigated completely. I think like if we want to he would just tank all of my damage, to be honest, and it was like very hard to, like, I didn't build IE third, that's kind of why, but like I could not really kill him, and that's because he was just going full armor, and like I just think that like we should be like you're right in saying that like we shouldn't tunnel vision into picking like a Gwen, but I think like we should be more clear into, like, if we were to draft something like this, then you'd have to say like, okay, like Adriano's going to be like our AP player because he's going Maokai, or like, you know, like Varus is like AP as well. Like Varus went on hit, so like it didn't really like change the Cho'Gath's build. But that's just like my 2 cents on it, because I couldn't advance my sideline. I couldn't get to the bottom tier 2.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit more, because one of the things that kind of went down here, I'll first talk about your point. I don't need you to hard kill this guy. That's one of the things that worked well for us, is that you didn't have to kill this guy in order to get like leads. You just have to put enough pressure on him so that you can push the waves freely, that you can cause pressure on the side lane and draw people to you. So you being able to like hard kill your opponent, not as relevant. And there were a couple scenarios where maybe this guy might have had a shit ton of armor by like the mid to late game, but you do have that hybrid damage. So it's not the end and be all. Like, you do have the Bork, so there's still some options for you to play around it. Now, at the same time, I don't think that they should have been able to pick Cho'Gath on R5 and still expect a good solution to the Yone. Like, I think they could have picked different stuff here on 5 and caused us a lot more problems. So I think that point is relevant. We can't just like walk into a draft, see what we've gotten in this game, and then expect that to just continue to pop in the future. There's good possibility that we're going to get punished for this kind of pick. Okay, at the same time, if we look at the draft here, right, it was Varus, Thresh into Lulu, Varus on PP1, Thresh on 2, and then Yone on 3. There are not a lot of options in our top and jungle that can give us frontline, engage, and AP. So if you look at Adrenaline's champion pool, in terms of like AP champions, Diana, Echo, those are his 2 big preferred. In terms of top lane for AP champions, Gwen. So in that kind of scenario, we don't have optimal choices, right? In this kind of world, I'm very happy that I sacrificed a little bit of AP damage while still having the Maokai, while still having Yone, in order to make sure that our team fights are important. This is something that's really critical. And I was listening to Bach talk about it the other day, but my responsibility as a coach is to make sure that we get a composition that works really well together, that can actually play all the different aspects of the game. Your guys' responsibility is to make sure that you guys have individual winning matchups in your lanes. The synthesis, we get a beautiful synthesis of those same things. We get a solid compromise of these two qualities. Is it going to be perfect in both regards? Yeah, definitely not. Okay. Any other questions about draft? Okay, sweet. Let's talk a little bit more. So, the first minute and a half is so fucking important. This is like such a critical aspect of the game. It's really just about making sure that we're defending our vision and trying to extend ours. And so, the big concept that's really important in order to get that vision is just concentration of force. Can you bring champions that are strong in the early game together into a single point against champions that are weak in the early game and push that advantage? So, Brown Joe losing a little bit of his HP, but he's holding the Raptor choke. This is pretty good, guys. Adrenaline calling for what he's always been calling for in that Raptor ward at 1 minute. Sweet. Brown Joe holding the choke here, getting to look at that, so that's very nice. Okay, awesome, guys. So, what I really liked about this first turn that we had set up was that it was just a lot of really good stable laning, right? You take a look at everyone's HP here on the left, except for jungle. Pretty solid, pretty solid. This shouldn't have happened. Affiliates Lulu really giving us a lot of lane prio in this lane, and that just shows that not all Titan Conquerors, not all Titan Conqueror players are very comfortable with playing out their matchups. So keep that in mind. But so far so good. Really liked what I saw. Okay, so was talking to Brown Joe about this. I think this point is pretty important here. So Brown Joe brought up a good moment that they had played for a crash right about here. Definitely not an actual crash here. It looks like it should have been held by their team in front of this tower, but they decided not to. It is what it is, and then it kind of turns into a slow push back into us. Okay, point aside about the freeze. This is an opportunity that we could have ganked, or we could have set up a really nice lane gank. So I want Brown Joe to be more specific about what he's trying to do with the wave before it happens. And this is general. This is general for our team and for everyone. Talk to each other about what kind of lane setup you're trying to create. I'm trying to create a freeze. I'm trying to get a slow push. I'm trying to create a hard crash. That way your team already has an expectation about what's going to happen. Once you've decided what you want to do, then update your team about whether it's succeeding or failing. Okay, yeah, it's actually setting up. I trimmed it perfectly. It's going to be a freeze. And that way, your team has a lot of extra time in their head to figure out what they can do with the wave state. Okay, mid laner. Hey, I've got a lot of control here in this lane. I can guarantee push on the next wave coming in that's at our tier 2 right now. Okay, jungler's like, okay, heard. I'm going to have mid control for sure on this play. That means I can play more aggressively. I'm going to skip the camp and I'm going to go bot lane. Right? That's the kind of thinking that's going to be really good here. So, let's get back specific to this. Maokai is here on his Raptors. He needs to be asking his team, hey, I've got 2 camps potentially until I hit the map. What can we do here? Or I want to be looking bot. That's probably a better way to say it. Roger's like, hey, great, we just got a crash here. It's going to push back to us. Can we look for something? And this is where Adrenaline needs to have a little bit of cost-benefit analysis here. Hey, should I finish my clear here? Should I finish my Krugs? Is that worth it? Or is it more worth a gun bot here? And so that's where you guys have that kind of deliberation, that negotiation, and then things can work out a little bit better. One of the things that we had a problem with here is that we didn't actually know where Lulu had warded. It could have been here. Actually, in fact, we do know it is here. I guess like you could have put it a little bit deeper, like perhaps here or here onto her own camps. But if we hadn't had this ward here and we just see Lulu fog up, this is kind of a good moment where this could have failed, right? Where if we didn't have this ward here, we don't know if Lulu had warded here or here, and then this makes any later gank opportunity a little bit more difficult. What Brown Joe did kind of point out here by pushing, like setting up that, not the crash, but attempting the crash and then having you push it back into them, is that he had controlled the ward timer, right? That's the critical thing. He had controlled the enemy support ward timer. And so that's one of the core things about setting up ganks here, guys. This is the information that I want to flow to the jungler. Setting up lane states with waves to control where and when they can ward. And then jungler can figure out that two pieces of information really clearly. Okay, here's the wave state, so I know where to gank from. And then same thing with a ward. Okay, it's here or there, or it's not up yet. All right, that really sets it up more easily. Okay, we see Wukong here on top side. Lizard putting himself into a little bit of a risky position, but overall pretty good. The wave is close to his tower, so, you know, if he dives, this is going to be a trade. Got to be a little bit careful here, though, Lizard. We do get the flash. This is quite nice. This is something that I really liked from Adrenaline a lot. So, Adrenaline had a good idea that there was going to be a ward on the stop bush, right? And so, he just plays the vision pretty well in regards to this. There is a ward here, which is a little bit unfortunate. Swag, if you see a possible opportunity that Vladimir's warding this, give him that ping, and that'll help him out a little bit more. But, okay, in terms of this, guys, this is what we really want to repeat for the future. False movement on the map, right? Most laners, even when they see him on this ward here, they're going to think, okay, yeah, the shortest distance from Crab to us is through this dot bush, concerning the freeze, right? But Adrenaline's like, hey, I have a good idea that there's a ward here. I'm going to slip past this ward here, go for this try. So really happy about that. Alright, when we get to this play here, there's a couple different options that could have worked out. But the big lesson here, guys, and I don't want to get too much into the specifics, is we need to be saving some of our CC, some of our dash, some of our mobility to answer what summoners and what CDs they have. Right? So, in this example, Aphelios has flash, he's got cleanse. Right? We know that's the case because we have been laying against him the whole time. If that's so, then we need to make sure that we're utilizing our abilities to counter that. Right? So, we either add a knock up or an airborne onto Aphelios so he can't cleanse properly. And then we can change the CC chain a little bit better. Or we save something that could reach him even if he flashes. Thresh Hook, Maokai W, right? Maokai Q flash. And that way we just secure this kill. He gets away with the skin of his teeth, and we burn a lot for it, right? We burn a lot for it. So, just be talking to each other about what kind of CCs you want to use first, or what you want to initiate with, what's going to follow through, what you're going to hold, and that'll help us secure kills. Okay, the other conversation as well. Hey, what target do we go for here? Right? Brown Joe brought up a point a little bit earlier in individual 101 that we could have just gone for Lulu, right? Because she doesn't have cleanse. That's true. That's 100% true. What we want to be going into this is I want you guys to have a consideration about what we're going to get out of these kind of ganks. If we go for Aphelios here with the draft that we have, I am much happier with that compared to the Lulu. And it has something to do with our 3 champions on blue side. Who wants to give it a shot? Why would I prefer Aphelios to be the target here instead of just getting the kill on Lulu guaranteed? Any ventures?
Because we have close to like guaranteed lockdown on top of him, so if he has no summoners, he's the main priority target.
Yeah, that's not bad. What I want to do here is I want to swap it back over to the kind of champions, the kind of win cons that our champions on the 3v3 or the 3v2 have here. Why would I prefer getting Aphelios CDs and him getting pushed out of lane here versus a Lulu secured kill?
I guess Aphelios just has no mobility. Like has really bad mobility as an ADC.
True.
Compared to Lulu's like power up.
Okay. Let me frame it like this. When you guys are considering which target you want to be going for, think about what kind of rewards you're going to get out of it, right? One of the reasons that junglers go to mid really early in the first like 4 or 5 minutes is not because that they're looking to kill the Orianna or kill the Syndra. It's just to burn the flash a lot of times. That's a really fucking good price. Put that Orianna and Syndra into a flashless condition, much less pressure. But that might not always be the case. That might not always be the target that we're trying to look for, right? If we were trying to snowball our jungler here in Adrenaline, if we had Echo, if we had Viego, yeah, get whoever you can kill. Get the 300 gold. Make sure he snowballs. But in this kind of scenario, I don't really care that Maokai gets a kill. I don't really care that Thresh gets a kill, right? Okay, Varus getting a kill, that's great. But with this kind of composition, Varus is not really the win con. Yeah? It's mostly Yone. We need to get Yone to be really strong and exercise a lot of side lane potential. and be strong that way, right? So getting a Philios with no CDs and being pushed out of lane here, even if he doesn't die, means he's going to lose a lot of gold. And that's going to feel a lot more valuable for us. Keep the Philios down rather than accelerate us. And that's a little bit of that difference there. Okay, but still pretty happy with the results here. Now, right here, guys, this is going to be so good for us in the future because I want us to be real emphasizing this. In fact, this is probably the most important point out of all the ones I talked about. Right before Drake spot starts, get that reset. Get that reset. One of the most important things about why I want you guys to play first turn on bot side is because first turn on bot side not only sets us up in a negative aspect for them. We punish them. They are hurting. They can't play for Drake. That's true. That's true. But the other benefit for us playing first turn on bot side is that we can get a reset together. We can reset together. Push in the bot wave. Finish our jungle clear right around the same time, and everyone walks. Everyone walks, right? Because the benefits of this here is we force Aphelios out of lane. We force Lulu into a position where she can't really walk up. Okay, this is no longer a freeze, right? This wave is no longer a freeze here because it bounced off our tower ever so slightly. Okay, great. Slam it. Slam it. Push that tower in. Make sure it bounces. And now Maoka's on a reset. Brownjo's on a reset. Adrenaline's on a reset. Mike's on a reset. And then we can all go straight to that bot Drake, right? And so this solves, if we do this consistently, this solves two of our big problems, right? Not resetting together as a team and having a really late first Drake. So keep that in mind, guys. We're looking for opportunities. Jungle is not just a tool to get pressure on the map, but it's a tool to get guaranteed resets. And this is the same thing with support. If support has a lot of prio because bot has a lot of control, you know, we have Bard, we have Pyke, we sometimes have Roam champion, the Leona. Okay, great. Use that champion to go to top and mid before Grubs, before Rift Herald. Get that guy out of lane so that he can swap to bot lane and we get pressure for that. That's super important. I'll talk a little bit more about it, but drill that into your head, guys. Champions that have finished their turns somewhere else can go somewhere from point A to point B to get everyone the same reset. Let's take a look at this solo kill here. Nice. Great job, man. Okay, my only small note here is that when watching the VOD, we were unsure if this guy had flashed or not, right? Heat of the moment, that's fine. I don't expect you guys to have perfect hindsight 2020 vision. But what I can't nitpick on is that this just shows that our team doesn't have the optimal level of camera control, right? Check this out, guys. We're on reset here, right? There's not a lot of action here on bot side. Not a lot of action over here. We're clearing camps. If our mid laner is low... let's go back a little bit more. Anytime that we see low HP bars on enemy team, low HP bars on us, our cameras should be just attuned to that. Shifting over there and just kind of watching what goes down. When everyone is kind of paying attention to different stuff on the map, we have a better opportunity to see where is the jungler or laner going after they disappear from vision, right? It's one thing to see the red champion icon on screen. It's another thing to know where they're going. So panning your camera to all those important parts of the map will help us find that. Or here, what seeds did they use, right? If we had 1 to 2 cameras out of 5 pinned on this Vladimir, so that the guy who's getting the solo kill and focusing on what he's supposed to be doing doesn't have to pay perfect attention to all the things he sees on his screen, right? And so, camera control, low HP bar, go ahead and toggle. Keep it real simple. If you guys see full HP bars across the map on your team, you don't see any big sharp drops in HP, okay, maybe not the best use case of your resources to start panning your camera and making your mind and body help you out to go see what else is going on. Alright, but this is really good. Now we can just reset here, TP back. We've got a lot of item control here. Boom, Berserker Griefs. We've got bot coming off a reset, and now this is a really good Drake opportunity. Right after this, we can get a little bit more setup here. I think we're skipping ever so slightly some of the steps, right? We need to be recatching these waves. This needs to be pushed out. This can be turned into a freeze or caught. So we are skipping steps. Overall, not the end of the world, because we just have a shit ton of gold here, guys. That's why I don't mind this too much. We just have a crap ton of gold. So, yeah, altogether, pretty good. Alright, we see Wukong pathing into our top side. We get a nice play here on mid, just because this guy has no flash. And this would probably be like a good example of, I would have rather had our jungler in support punish this guy for having his wave pushed back into him, or against him, and having no flash, right? If Thresh is here, Adrenaline is here, and this guy has no pool, okay, he's dead. Just as we see here. Some good stuff defending this freeze. This guy's fucked. Okay, and Lizard has been doing a really good job with this, guys. But we need to be very conscious about how we're setting up our grub swap. Because if we get really good at our grub swap, dude, we're gonna be unkillable. Because game gets really easy, right? Play draft. Get winning bot side matchup. Play first turn bot. Get pressure. Get combined reset. Play Drake second turn. Get combined play. Reset. Swap. Grubs. Alright, you just can't lose. You just can't lose. Like, that shit is too OP, right? That shit is just way too OP. So Lizard's been doing a really good job at making sure that we're swapping for grubs. We need to catch up to Lizard. He's leading the way. We need to follow through. So, in order to set up grubs really properly, finish the Drake, and at about 650 to like 710, we need to be setting our lane states. If we can get crashes at the same time in both lanes, very good. That is just very easy what we need to do. Everyone resets, and we just go to our lanes. You can also do, if top has a TP, freeze bottom. Just freeze it. Just freeze it. Then top can reset. After he gets his crash, he TP's bot to cover it, and then you guys can reset a little bit later. So that's like a second tier option. Not bad. The third tier option that's a little bit worse than both of those, or significantly worse than both of those, we both get freeze. If there's freeze on top and bot, then our jungler or support can hold that freeze, and then the core laners can move. The only problem is if they show numbers there, we're fucked. The freeze disappears. So that's our tier list. Crashes at the same time. Oh yeah, big double thumbs up. One crash on one side, and then freeze on the other, where the other guy doesn't have TP. Where the side laner has TP, and the freeze does not. Still pretty good. And then the third option, both freeze. We're very vulnerable, very sketchy. So, Brown Joe wants Mike to hold his freeze, and this would have made it a little bit easier for Lizard, right? Because now this is going to push back into red side. Oh. Not bad, not bad. It will still push out just because of the HP, but it holds in a pretty nice place for us. So Lizard catches the cannon wave, which is going to feel pretty good. But I like this guy, so we get the swap. This guy's in danger. We did talk about holding this as a freeze. I don't actually really want this to be the case. I would rather just bounce, and that's because we're going to be playing for grubs. We can't spend a lot of time here, just because the red buff is coming up. We don't want to lose that and give it to Wukong for no reason, because we're spending way too much time here. So, let it bounce. Let it bounce. But this is really good, guys. Really good. Right? What can Aphelios Lulu? What is Dark going to do into this guy? I mean, yeah, sure. Yeah, she doesn't have any armor here. But he's got a shit ton of HP. He'll be fine. Nice. Good play on this guy. We got his flash. And then here we go. This is how we end the swap, right? Resets top. Resets bot. And so, playing for this wave, playing for this plate, Lizard's just wasting a little bit of time. He should be resetting off that crash. And not just because it's a crash, because it's a crash synced with the top side, right? And even here. Okay. Cannon is dead? Awesome. Get the fuck out of there. Get the fuck out of there. There's no reason to be here anymore. Plates, I don't care. I do not give a fuck about plates. I care about synced resets, synced crashes, turning into synced resets. Fuck the plates. If you guys are winning so hard on the map, and you guys can both get plates on both lanes, and then you guys can both reset, okay, we're chilling. We're chilling. I don't have a problem with it. So now you can just see that sounds a little bit late here. For whatever reason, if Choke had TP'd here and was able to crash that, that would have been a very slight detriment to us. Alright, this is our, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is turn 4 for Drake. So this is really solid. One of the things, that I want you guys to feel good about or to be aware of when we're in these kind of scenarios. Bad teams will not be able to recover after the swap. Bad teams will not be able to recover after the swap. They don't have the hindsight. Sorry, not the hindsight. They don't have the degree of consciousness, the quality of awareness to realize that, okay, they're going to try to push on the back foot. They're going to constantly try to put us into bad lane states where you need to make sure that we're trying to match these swaps as best we can, right? And so when you see them stuck in the swap after we've got the crash, big thumbs up. That means we're in the driver's seat. Don't worry about forcing the play so hard. We have extra time because their matchups, their lane states are so poor because of their lane assignments, because of their swaps. So if we get into this kind of scenario, we have a lot of time. Play aggressively into their bot side. Look to make sure that our mid and bot are in the perfect position. Like right here in this example, they're fucked, right? Choke out this bot. Silence top. Lulu was not warding shit. So, Maokai, if he wants to show, in fact, I would prefer him to show mid and get this crash off. So this crash is synced with this bot crash. And now, guess what? We can play it both ways at the same time. Right? Isn't that cool? Guess what? We can play both ways at the same time. Even though that the cannon wave is still here and the cannon wave is already met on mid. That's some of that value. And that way, Yone is able to leave mid lane and be here for the vision part of the Drake without Wukong like being right next to him. And Maokai's already here. So just think about that for our next couple games. Getting that synced crash with... We gotta find like... I gotta create like a term for it. And like R6, it would be like the roamer. But we just need a better concept or a better name for someone that has pressure, is going somewhere else to sync the lane states. I'm not really sure what we're going to call that. But, okay. Let's take a look here. Cho'Gath doesn't have flash, so we're going to get, like, harass him a little bit so we get another crash. It is what it is. Not bad. Not bad at all. Great. We play for this. And very good. Very good. Okay, so we still have a little bit more time to lane just because Riptail's not going to spawn for a while yet. We're chilling. Alright, let's take a look at topside here. This is definitely going to be one of the more annoying things that they try to do to us. Like, really good teams, they'll try to put us into these situations where if they hold a freeze on one map, on one side of the map, when we're trying to go for a swap, it can really kind of slow us down. So, good thing to know. Here, if Lizard had flash first and then Art away, I think that would probably save him. It is what it is. Alright, let's take a look at our swap coming up soon. We get a lot of pressure on this guy. Maokai does see that Wukong is topside after all this play, so we do go for a little bit of a bot dive. Let's see if we can play this a little bit differently. Yeah, it's not bad. If we were confident that this guy had it warded, then I would want you guys to play a lot less aggressively on a visual level. Make that Filio feel safe until Maokai can get behind him. And then if Maokai R's from this angle from Fog, this guy's giga fucked. Flash or not, he does not survive here. So this is a little bit of an overstep. If we can get Aphelios killed and we get first bot tower like this, then Silent dying on topside is totally worth. And I'm okay with that trade. Okay, here's the Rift swap. I like you guys, not bad. In fact, at this point of the game, I would prefer probably Silent to be mid. So you guys have a little bit more frontline. Yone doesn't have TP, but yeah, it's fine. And then we Silent, like Yone can start to threaten this tier 2 and get a little bit more value out of that. And then you guys can just skirmish a little bit more properly with a little bit more frontline. But okay, still pretty good. We just killed or Cho's dead. Oh yeah, this guy's just kind of trolling. Okay, so here's a little bit about map awareness, right? We see Lulu and Aphelios fogging off a neutral wave into topside, right? Right here. They're deep committing to this. So, what our best solution here is to wait for Yone and then connect with him here. Connect with him here. Maokai, connect with him here. Like pushing this wave is going to put us into a bad spot, especially if they're going to get past us on try. So Mike needs to play off this wave, get set up together. This is the vision step, right? Wave, vision play, or wave play. So a little bit off center, but it is what it is. Not bad. And then here we're just doing a little bit too much, right? We're chasing into dead space. We don't know who does or does not have TP. Yone is still mid. He doesn't have that option. Lizard is not able to TP to us. And so even just from conditions, this could have turned out a lot worse than it did. Mike's the only really person that can do a lot of damage here, and he's just immobile, right? Brown Joe doesn't have the lantern, and so this can get really dangerous really fast. And then we're going too deep, right? Lizard TPs a little bit later when he can. And this fight against a better team could have went really bad for us, but Yone does come in from the side and turns out right. Let's take a look here about trying to make sure that we're getting synced on the right time, right? Okay, great. We took Riftchild. Basically, everyone here should reset. Literally, everyone here should just reset. We don't have the most gold in the world on Thresh. Yeah, that's definitely true. But might as well sync your reset with the rest of the team and just get some pinks. If maybe you were able to run over to the top side a little bit earlier, Brown Joe, and make sure that this freezes, that could have been sweet. But to be honest with you, it's probably a moot point. So everyone just get your resets, guys. It may not be individually good for you, but it's crazy good for the team on the map. And that way we just all get to our lanes at the right time, all at the same time, so no one's vulnerable. That's another good point. Like, the other thing about making sure that our resets are all synced is that if we send one person out to cover a lane while everyone else is resetting, some guy's farming a lane, some guy's trying to clear a ward, one guy's fighting camps or fighting the enemy team, then the one guy who reset when everyone else had an opportunity to, now he's by himself in the lane while everyone is off map. Guess what? That guy gets shit on. That guy gets beat up. They take his money. Right? They rob him. So that's another good reason why we need to be singing our resets. Don't let the guy who got first tempo to get high tempo, don't let him get punished. All right, but here's our Drake setup. Lane Simon's looking pretty good here. Again, this is another good example where I actually prefer probably Yone to be in the side lane here, where he's got a little bit more pressure. Plus, he's got the TP advantage, so Sion can lane with us and be a little bit safer here. But all right. Nice getaway here. We see them approaching. We pop the roof in the mid. Okay, and we talked about this the game day, right? So, my first thought was, hey, guys, plan out the Riftchild. So you're going to do 2 charges on mid and then do something with it. There was an objection. You guys said that was too complicated. Alright, fine. No worries. So then just be even simpler with it. Where are we rifting? And then where are we going afterwards? So that way, we're all on the same page. That way, Mike is not hitting on mid tower because he's confused about whether we're going to play for another crash. That way, Brown Joe is not put into a bad spot where he's trying to connect our Adrenaline, who's pushing forward, and the Mike who's hovering behind. And that way, we're not being super far aggressive when the rest of our team is not in a position to connect. Right? So, if we were all here at this point, yeah, I think Adrenaline's play is pretty sweet, right? This is 4 people hitting 2 targets. We've got topside prio, we've got mid prio, they're all showing. We absolutely beat the shit out of him here. But keep that in mind, guys. Like, sometimes plans can go awry. Ideal plans can go awry because our conditions are not good. We're not on the same page. We just need to be a little bit more patient. And another good example, like, yeah, I think Yone could have TP to these wards here for this play. But, again, small things. It is what it is. Okay, so we give this Drake. It is what it is. That's fine. To be honest, it's totally fine. And the reason why, I've covered this extensively with Revenant players, but Swag, a good possibility or a good metric for figuring out if you want to give Drakes or not is just checking the Drake count, what we call the Drake count. How many Drakes do we have? How many Drakes do they have? If they get value out of taking a Drake, getting to soul point, getting to soul, getting higher than we have. Okay, that's a problem. That might be something we're willing to contest. But if we're at 2 Drakes, if we're at 3 Drakes and they're at nothing, if they're at 1, okay, whatever. Then the question is, guys, just give them the Drake. Now, what are we going to do with it? What can we do with that? Can we go for a topside play? Can we get a better reset? Can we play Baron? Something along those lines. Okay, Drake is given away. It is what it is. Baron's not going to be spawning for like 6 minutes here. So, the game is pretty strongly in our favor. I like what we have here, right? We've got all of our towers up. We're in good position here. The only thing to note is that because their towers are kind of like built in this one line, all their tier 2s are up, there's not a really strong point on the map that we can specifically put under pressure here. So you guys had to be a little bit more creative in putting Yone on one side of the map where you want to pressure, specifically probably into that Chon matchup, and have the team centered on a different part of the map. Okay, and let's go a little bit more towards like Swag's point here about how they had a shit ton of armor. Yeah, he's got some armor. He's got the chain vest. But the post-laney phase, this is exactly what I'm talking about. They're not too tanky to the extent that you can't push through them. And even if they are, one of the benefits of being in this scenario is that you just have too much sustain. Take a bad trade while you're pushing in a tower. Get a bunch of HP off Crab. Get a bunch of HP off like some other mini wave. Right? And then you can come back and continue to put that pressure down. Okay, here's our Otacon. Any questions so far?
No.
Oh. No questions so far.
Sweet. Alright, we're seeing sign on to the bot side. Oh, we're TPing to this. Okay. And we sent Yone bot.
I guess my idea was I'd like rotate mid if 4 were gonna go top. And just sack the bot tier 1. But that's kind of why I was mid there. And then turns out I just ended up.
I think I had an item on reset. That's just why I left.
Yeah. I think this is whatever. Like, giving him a tier 1 so that we can play for Otacon and then, like, fight them here, I think it's okay. I think we could have also just, like, set Scion bot and then just, like, R to bot side and then just try to play for that wave and pick it up, and that way you can TP for the Otacon defense. Is it the end of the world? No. I think we're just, like, in a really good position, so I kind of like how you guys play this. This is not bad. This TP is crazy. A good team would never TP like that. Playing to answer here. Let's take a look here.
Dude, I've seen some psycho shit these past few weeks.
True. So, I like the idea on paper about Yone TPing, right? They're hard engaging on us. Cho'Gath's in a bad position. If Yone TP's behind, we get him even better position. So, one of the problems here is that if you TP right now, as you did, it's just a little bit too early. Then they can collapse on you because it turns into 2 fights. The fight where Cho'Gath is fucked, and we have concentration and force on him, and the fight where you're fucked. They have concentration and force on you. So, next time, let them commit to this. Because, to be honest, for whatever reason, they were really trying to get to this fight. For fuck knows what reason. Alright, if that's the case, let them. Let them pass this point. Let them pass this point. And then you can TP here, you can TP here, and they're already committed. If they charge back into you, you can E backwards, and then R them when your team connects. If they decide to keep going forward, okay, sweet, don't E. Just walk to them, and you guys can fuck them up. And this is universally true for, like, any champion. You know, if this was a Lizard TPing to this, let them walk forward. And then cut them off, cut their escape off. Maybe, like, sit on Fog, like here, or maybe here. Or, nah, that's probably not the best examples, because you can't really sign Q into this dry brush from those angles. But, same kind of concept. Let them in, and then fuck them up. So, could we have gotten more here? Yeah, 100%. Is this bad? No. Like, look at this, guys. Really good. I was really happy about this. You guys know that, hey, we just taken a great fight. Mike is walking a little bit too deep, but he pulls off at the right time. Look at all this gold that we're spending. 1,800, 1,700, 631, 1,256. That's like 3.5k minimum. Dude, no. We're talking like closer to 4.5, even 5k. So, this is really solid, guys. Really happy about that. Alright. Drake is coming up. We're not going to play for the soft side because it's already pushed in. Totally happy about that. Look at my wave vision, wave play. I think we could have like returned to mid wave and pushed that one out, and this would have been the actual wave that we do Drake on. So one of the things that Ronso's team is doing really well, Resurgence is doing really well on, is just calling out what waves they want to play on. And we could definitely do really better at that, much better at that as well. So I really like what we've done here. Wave vision, right? This is our waves to play on. This is our vision step. Everyone's connecting. And then this wave, right? This wave is a little bit too deep. We don't really have to worry about this one. This is our mid wave to play on. So we should all return here. Maybe Yone could like stay in river so that he's like all in fog just by a little bit. Then we all play on this wave, push it back into their 2-2, and then walk and then re-enter all 5 on this side of the map. And that would be pretty good. So let's take that even a step further. If you guys were really cognizant about what wave you wanted to play on, right? Taking a look here. You're noticing that this wave is coming off our base now. If we've identified, hey, this wave is going to be in a threatening position by the time that we're doing Drake. Okay, great. So now all the vision that we have to put down, we can just center it around our upcoming entrance, right? If we're pushing from this angle, and we're gonna enter mid from this angle, and then we're gonna re-enter river from this angle, we don't really care about this control ward as much, right? We don't care about this specific ward as much. This vision would be better shifted either down or left, right? We've got more control here, more control here, more control here. We're gonna see them here, right? It's way more valuable to see Lulu walk in from this route, be a dumbass, walk through this bush, walk here, and then we can pick her from here or here, right? That's so much more valuable than if we have a ward here and we see the Cho'Gath walking from bot side into here. Right? You're not going to get anything done with that, right? So, in the future, we can pick the wave that we're going to play on and then choose where the vision is going to go to set us up for that better play. Alright, so good stuff here. We take that Drake. You good, Swag?
You swag, buddy. Are you doing ASMR or what?
Oh, sorry.
Alright, you're
chilling.
Alright, where are we here? Baron coming up at 25. So, Yone feeling pretty good in the side lane here. Let's take a look. Nice. This is great, guys. There's probably less to talk about from this point on, but just because we're just hard in the driver's seat. Very chilling, very chilling. So, let's just take a look how we set this up. I think we're talking about in this moment, just trying to get a pick, just trying to set up a trap. Playing on this wave to get vision. Sweet. Adrenaline is saying, hey, I got a lot of saplings here, we can bide our time. Quite happy about that. Okay. Looks like Yone is... No. Yone has not reset. He doesn't have any big money here either, so we don't have to worry too much. We decided to start this up. Not bad. We've got good pressure here. Eyes on Wukong. I like that a lot. Just make sure that he doesn't have a free opportunity to dive over the pit and get something done. And now, take a look. We look to turn. A little bit messed up on the turn angle. I think, because Wukong is in such a shitty position right here, you guys can probably just play to finish it, right? It's at 2k, it's burnable or burstable while he's still in a bad position, so you guys can just finish it off here. If it connects, the turn is probably still good, right? You pick him off, and then you go back to the Baron, it's chill, but looks like we get a decent connect here. Let's go look at this fight. Who flashes your adrenaline? Yeah. Okay, not bad. We should just take Wukong and then walk. Perfect. Great job, guys. Okay. Yone, this is a good example, right? 5-man reset. Give me a 5-man reset. I think we push out the wave. If that was your IE money, then it's worth it. If it's not your IE money, not worth it. And this is that stance. I would just go IE anyway. to be honest with you.
I guess I just wanted the cannon, to be honest. I was going Death Stance next.
Yeah, just go IE. Death Stance third is probably not the best. I mean, it's much better for you to get that 100% crit. Alright, let's go to the fight here. Oh yeah, Death Stance, because like your laners are 100% going to be AP, right? It's going to be Vladimir Cho'Gath. So, yeah. IE is going to get you a little bit more value. There's not really an MR buy on third item for Yone. That's going to feel good. Alright, let's take a look at our setup here. So this is our Cloud Soul. Cloud Soul is absolutely fucking busted, but we do have Baron. So I don't want to hard commit for this Drake if we can try to commit for towers here as well. But looks like we get a nice little pick here. Okay, I talked about this after the game, right? And I think my only problem with here on this pick is that we see 4 here, right? We saw this one guy fogging. We see 2 on mid. We see Cho'Gath over here. And we see Vladimir on top side. Right, this guy's... Look at this guy. Look at that guy. Everyone's alarm bells should be fucking ringing when this guy goes on fog and there's 4 people here mid, right? Because if they were tracking our TPs really well, or not, maybe not tracking them very well, and they thought they can make a play here while neither of us on our sidelines could react, this play could have went really bad for us. They kill Varus, Maokai Thrasher just dead. Guaranteed, right? This is not the kind of composition where we have a lot of different threats. If Varus dies, alright, it's really, really, really rough. So, just like I was talking about here, guys, Vladimir did TP in, just way too fucking late, right? And so, in fact, it even gets canceled here, right? That's absolutely crazy. And so, this is a good example here. We need to be really careful about making sure we're connecting with our side lanes, understanding what kind of composition we've been playing, right? So this fight could have went really poorly for us. But overall, pretty solid. Nice, and you guys just truck it for a win. Good job. Okay, any questions? Any thoughts?
Yes, sir.
Did we go over the play where I guess we're not going over the play that we like messed up.
Which one?
We've already talked about it. The one where we overcommit onto the Wukong, I think. And we give up the third, or our soul point, or our soul Drake.
We looked at that.
I think we did, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Is that the one where,
It was one where Yone TP'd far, and then Mike was not connected.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that one already, with the Rift Child.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
The only thing I would like to say is I really like the point of what wave we play on, because I feel like sometimes we're too focused on killing mid and they just have the whole area and burn Drake.
Right.
And then we're just sitting here holding our dicks, and then we're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think when we're in control of the game, it's a lot like...
No,
a lot more like we can decide when we start the Drake, and they can't ever start it.
No, that's true, but like from last week, it felt like a lot of times we were playing the wave. They took space, and then they melted Drake, and then here we are.
Yeah. We talked about being able to identify when like the mid's neutral, and we can just like hold our space where it is.
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. Is I really like for us to start focus on that. I think that's a good point.
Yeah, that's a great point. In fact, we got Bach here, dude. Bach, are there any tips for trying to identify which wave to play on, or just any general tips on like identifying waves in general to fight on?
That's like a tough question.
Yeah, it's because it's pretty general.
I can give you like a scenario of what was happening is we would keep like when we were behind last week in our games, or maybe it was a scrim, we would keep playing for mid prio and the enemy team already had like river control and they weren't necessarily playing for mid prio and we were, and they would just hold control of river and then burst drag while we were pushing the wave, and then we couldn't even walk into them anyways because of the way the team comp was. Whereas they weren't even playing for it, it's better to just take control of the river anyways. Like I guess my point is that there were points where we could have had control of river and just sack the mid wave instead of just giving river control.
Okay. Yeah, like the whole point of playing for the wave mid is like you play for the wave mid because it gives you options. The options are like if they get off dragon, you can take dragon space, and if they don't stay on dragon, then you can just fucking push mid. So if you're not able to actually play the dragon once, or like sorry, if you're not able to actually push mid when they get off, then you needed to do a. Then that's not your problem. Your problem is you needed to be there before, because you can't afford to give up dragon control. So I'm trying to like understand what your question here is.
Yeah, because like in that scenario, Lizard, I think one of the bigger problems with that was that we didn't have a good control mage. We didn't have a good draft. So like we would have to expend 2, 3, 4 times as much effort for them compared to them in order to take the mid wave space, and that relates back in the box point about hey, we just like don't. We need to be there earlier because if we lose the mid control, then we're just done. Okay, I want to take a quick break. I want to grab a quick snack, so let's take a 2-minute, and then we'll get in this next game.
Let's see if I can find the game.
Yeah, I was gonna say find the clip for me, Lizard, and make sure you take a break though as well.
I just woke up from a nap.
I think it was your LeBlanc game, if you still have that.
Oh, I definitely don't.
Yeah, I definitely don't either.
I don't.
Can you download off of someone else's profile?
I think you can, but the patch came out, so
Oh shit, yeah.
I don't think we're gonna be able to access those.
Yeah, never mind.
I think if there's a better way I can explain it. I'm just gonna picture it in my head.
Like there's rules on how you play the map, right? Like when you're asking like what wave to play on, you really should be asking the question, are we up tempo, which means are we on the map first, or are we down tempo, which means the enemy's on the map first. If the enemy's on the map first, you have to pick one lane usually, or 2 lanes to put your numbers in, and it's usually going to be mid lane. So that'll kind of like answer the question for you. What wave it's going to be? Like it's going to be like the next mid wave. That's your answer.
I guess maybe I was just wording it wrong, because what it felt like is they would play for a mid wave and then walk into drag. And we would be doing the same thing. Like all 10 of us would be on mid wave. They would, I don't know, let's say they'd catch it higher, or sometimes they would just like completely negate the mid wave and just walk in the river.
I'm back.
And then we would still play for that mid wave when they were already in river, just sacking mid. And we didn't really have like the ability to just hard shove mid because they were so strong that they would burst drag in like 10 seconds and then just walk mid at us. And I don't really think that it's like in that game there was a possibility to play any of the drag fights regardless, unless we were doing what they were doing and sacking a mid wave or mid pressure to just take river space, because they had a really like front to back team.
Show it then.
I can't
pull it up. Why can't you?
I don't have the replay.
Oh, well then yeah. Why are we even talking about it?
I don't know.
Okay.
Alright, game 2. Here we go. I was really happy about this draft. This is quintessential good kind of stuff. Comfort on basically everyone here. Pretty clear identity. Pick / split push kind of composition. We got a good amount of globals here with Lizard, Galio, Ashar. So pretty good stuff here. I was really happy about this. This is a good draft read as well, because we knew that they wanted to play a lot of compositions that were early focused, aggressive divers. And so we played pretty solidly against that. Really happy about that. If we have a really good level 1 here, We got the Braum, we got the Ashe. I want us to be playing more aggressively here. Or at least connecting. Like, if we want to do this invade onto Raptors, okay, sure. But let's make sure that Swag, like, if Swag is, like, pulling off from this position, floating here, pulling across here to make sure he's not seen by Ward, by doing the same, Ashe doing the same, we're fogging over to Braum, that would be sweet. Because if this guy gets caught into a skirmish, we are winning this, like, 1,000 days out of 1,000 days. But again, not too bad. We're still utilizing that pressure to get that early ward, so still happy about it. Okay, let's take a look at our first turn here, guys. Let's take a look here. We have to be a little bit careful about losing early to a push just because of Gatling Gun on Corki. If we auto-attack while he's auto-attacking and he has E on the wave, they're just going to AoE it. So we got to be a little bit more careful about getting that level 2. But, you know, overall, not the end of the world. We get the 80 carry from Mike, or we get the kill from Mike. It goes to Leo.
He had already used it early in the game, and he traded with it and got nothing out of it.
Are you talking about what?
That's
Gatling
why.
gun?
Yeah, the Gatling gun.
He got a lot out of it.
What do you mean?
He got push. So my point here is I don't really care about the trade, right? Because if he uses Gatling gun while we're just auto-attacking the wave, then he's going to get it right here and then secure the push and then they hit level 2. And that matters a lot more. Alright, let's see. Wave's still in a pretty good place for us. If I can take that blue buff. Here's a good, like, another good example of, like, us trying to connect with jungle here. If we see this vision plant here, and we already have a really good freeze, I would rather have our jungler, sorry, not our jungler, I'd rather have AD or support fog over here, take this, make sure there's no wards here. If there's other options to make sure there's no wards here, just because we know where the wards are based on our memory, if we know where the wards are based on our sweeper, then I think this is really sweet. But regardless, control this spot. And that way, we don't even have to do blue. We can just gank these guys right here. Taking blue at the end of the worlds. Let's see if they were able to ward. Yeah, they were able to ward our try. Okay, let's see how our first turn gank goes off. Is Adrenaline seen by this ward? We'll see in a second. They do see us here, but not by the ward. Oh yeah, this was a really good play by them, huh? Okay, then the real question is, did we see him on this Raptor ward? Because if we see him on this Raptor ward, when we do, then we don't see him on Crab, then we need to know, or we need to know that there's a high chance that he's just waiting for us. So let's take a look. You know what? In fact, I'll tell you guys another thing. Even if we don't see him on this ward, we should still know he's going bot. Why?
Because it'd already be gone by now.
Exactly, Lizard. Exactly. It'd already be gone by now, 100%. And so this ties into the same thing that I've been talking about right in the first game. Camera control. We got 5 cameras on the team. If we are not figuring out this kind of information, this is something that we need to work on. Hey, this guy's not fucking here yet. What does that mean? Okay, maybe the junglers or the people that have played jungle and comp could tell me, right? Or like, you know, not right now, but like in the game. And that way we'd have a better idea that, okay, Shinzao could probably be sitting in a bush here. We might be in trouble. Okay.
Can you instead show their vision and see how long he sat in that bush?
What would we be trying to get out of that?
He just wants to see how we like path to that bush.
I can tell you for
It was probably like 10 seconds.
Yeah, I'll tell you for a fact, it's just Krugs. He just Krugs and then walks into lane.
I think maybe even like the spacing of the fight,
he just went Krugs into lane.
Like if Vi's coming from the river and like Braum's also near the river, I think like Ashe doesn't have that like protection from both like when she's like walking towards the Leona, right? Rather if she like turns around. Like I know it's already like on, like he already like goes in, but I think just like the positioning of just like wrapping around, and then that would be a better fight because then the
Yeah.
Ashe would be protected.
But this is like hindsight analysis, right? Because the reality is that we had no idea that Shinzao was even in this bush like whatsoever. I don't think.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I agree with that.
And so like I think if Mike is being told, hey, let's all in on Leo here, then the Itakiri should just go for it because like we're not talking about Shinzao. Okay, what were we trying to get value out of looking to see what route he took?
I had I actually had a feeling that Zin might have been bush ganking, but I again didn't vocalize it.
Okay.
It's just
Was it just intuition?
yes. It was also the positioning a little bit. They should have been playing back, especially whenever we had vision of that bush. Like
Oh, like
it just
Corky
didn't
playing kind of up
seem.
here or something, right?
Yeah, off of her. First off of Leo, right? Like he hugs the bush and then he's just look at his positioning when he turns
Yeah,
around.
I see.
It just doesn't make sense.
Right, I see what you're saying. Okay, so yeah, if we had those two pieces of information, hey, where's Shinzo, guys? He's pathing down here. He's on a crap. Plus, Brancho's intuition. Okay, that would have sold the house right there. That would have booked us a ticket for sure.
I could have also just called it to play it slow in the scenario that he was bush ganking, or play on top of Ashe since she has no sums.
Yeah. Alright, no worries. Holy crap, Jack's getting solo kill into the Gragas matchup. Big. Oh, Gragas just... he's being silly. He just like...
He's a pig.
Yeah, he just bought a slam to you for nothing, and then you leap strike.
He did it the whole game.
Yeah.
I didn't leap strike into one of his E's the whole game.
Nice. Okay. Big. Okay, so in these kind of scenarios, right, if we have not a lot of bot side control, right, and we just got on a top side kill, I would be pretty happy if Adrenaline was able to look for a top side play before he does his clear, right? And that way he's not sacking his clear too much because none of his bot side camps are up, but we still get a little bit of plays where we can. And that way we're not just full clearing into a Drake that we don't have control over. Let's take a look at the buy here from Corgi. Okay, so the end of the world. But this would be a good habit to get in general. Hey guys, first turn did not end well for us. Okay, before we do our clear, can we do a cross map play on top side before they get their Drake setup off? Gotta be careful of Shinzao. Ooh, okay. So, when I was talking about the Drake setup for second turn from the first game, I was talking about how if everyone get a reset together, then jungler can just go straight bot and make that play happen, right? So, if we go back to the kill here. Okay. Based on what we see here from red side, there's a high chance that they're just resetting together. Let's take a look. Yeah, they did. So, in this kind of scenario, we need to be tracking not only opportunities for us to get synced recalls, but also when they're getting synced recalls. Because then this becomes a much clearer opportunity that, hey, guys, there's a good chance that Xin Zhao is going to recognize I have no fucking pressure on top side. Drake is up, I have a lot of pressure for here. He might just gun it straight over, guys. And that's why this spending a little bit more extra time on this crash while Vi's on our Gromp can get really scary. But it turns out he's just playing on his Crux. Again, this is really stupid for him, right? Why is Shinzao prioritizing his Krugs when his team is in a winning position here for this Drake setup? And so he's just late to this fight. So again, be very careful about re-aggressing on the side of the map that we had lost our previous turn on. And I think we just kind of get lucky here. Like, Leo is so fucking tanky, but we melt her just enough before the rest of the team really kind of gets in here. And the Galio R to add to it, so pretty sweet. And then mid laner should just, skip right over to mid lane. Sweet. Okay, nice little swap here, guys. Look at this. I'm gonna give you guys dopamine here. Okay, big. And in fact, let's see. I want to see if Swag has any money to spend here. After that Drake. He's got 500. Wave is neutral here. Let's see if he can really buy anything. Yeah, he can finish a little bit. He can finish Bambi Cinder here, and that would be pretty sweet. So yeah, we do have an opportunity to get a reset. Okay, who can answer this question? Why am I bringing up swag? We got 3 resets here. People are going off to our lane assignments. Why am I talking about swag's goals here and what he can buy on a reset?
Is it like about the item he can buy or the component?
Yeah, the component.
Bambi just gives him like more wave clear in a sense. Right?
Sure. But how can we get him to buy it, right? In this kind of scenario, right, we send our bot lane to top side, and he does not have TP. So he's never going to get this buy before grubs. So what can we do instead? On this side of the map.
It's a good question.
Honestly, I guess in this moment, I don't think I was looking to buy the Cinder first. I think I was going to buy the Spectre Scowl. I was low-key getting like electrocute chunked by the Echo. So I kind of wanted more of that like magic resistance. So I didn't really want to I didn't really have gold for that. That's kind of what I was leaning towards.
Oh, okay. I'll tell you that the Bambi Cinder with the Null Magic Mantle is going to be pretty efficient. So what happens in buys for League? You have the base components, right? Like the Null Magic Mantle, the Ruby Crystal, etc., and then you get to like the next tier above that, the Epic tier. And a lot of times, the Epic item is not as efficient with your base stats. So when you're buying the Bambi Cinder for MR, it's more efficient for you to get the Bambi Cinder, get that HP, get the bonus on the Immolate, and then just sit on the Null Magic Mantle. And you'll be like 80 to 90% as tanky as you would have finished the Spectre's Cowl, but be just spending less cash and having the Immolate passive. So that is absolutely the case for IE, right? For IE, you really want BF Sword, and then you want the Cloak. You don't really want the Pickaxe. If you can get those 2 things, you get the BF, boom, you're chilling. That's most of the IE right there, in theory.
Gotcha.
Who else wants to take a shot here at what we could have done differently in terms of our lane assignments?
Could have pushed Galio top and had bot open mid.
Yeah, exactly, right? Swag's like, hey, yo, guys, I got Bambi Cinder golds. Yo, let me buy this, and I am super strong. Hey, can you go top here? Is that actually good for you to lane into this guy? He's like, yeah, I have no Magic Mantle. It's just another EP matchup. I'm hard chilling if I go top here. Okay, great. Ash Braum run over this guy. Does Echo have any sums? Yeah, he does, but he's half HP. You guys are not going to be threatened. Great. These guys run over here, and now they can control this wave and then walk up. Galio gets his reset when you guys connect, and then he can run over here. He's going to lose a little bit of the wave here because it's kind of fucked, but in general, in theory, that's a little bit of the good stuff, right? If this wave had been crashed, and this mid wave is neutral, that's a really good condition for us to send bot to mid, and then Galio resets and then runs top. Okay. Here's another mistake that I called out from game 1. What is my mistake that I talked about in game 1, and then what is the mistake here?
Dead space.
Dead space, yeah, that's not bad. What else? There was a specific play that happened game 1 that this is a repeat of.
Or mid not having conditions to be there.
Yeah, true. And you too, right? You're not really in a position to help. You don't have any TP. Your wave's not in a great place, so.
Yeah.
Who remembers the play I'm talking about? Brown Joe, Mike, Adrenaline. Who remembers the play I'm talking about? I pointed out in game 1 that this is a carbon copy of.
Oh yeah, or I guess the connectedness of all 3 players. I guess they're kind of close to each other, but they're still not right. They can't follow up directly, I guess.
Close. I don't think that's a bad point because Shinzao does have R here, and so Mike might not be able to hit if Shinzao R's and walks a little bit of a different distance off. It was the play on mid that I was talking about. It was Maokai, Varus, and Thresh were looking for a pick on Lulu while they were pushing in on mid. So how does that relate to this one here?
That we don't know where they are.
Yeah, basically, exactly, pretty much, right? I think we're kind of just like, now it's like pretty obvious what the answer is. But yeah, that's 100% the point. We don't have mid to be able to connect. Our side lane's not in the perfect position when we're taking this fight. And so, if we take this 3v3 here, we could be in a little bit of a danger just because we don't see exactly where they are and we're just kind of like, just going at it. If, Ashe does go down here, I think he'd be a little bit dangerous. To be honest, though, I don't think this is as much of a mistake as it was the first game, just because I think that Vi is still a pretty good threat with Braum. I think Ashe is still a pretty good threat with Braum, so just something to keep in mind. I think this worked out pretty fine. I think this is less of a mistake than the one I pointed out in Game 1, but still, just something to be pointing out. If we had let Galio reset by shifting our ball lane over to mid instead of top, and then Galio is walking here, then this play looks a lot juicier for us, right? Because then we just have to wait a little bit, and then Galio's over here, and then now we can fight with number advantage. But alright.
But this time I hawk-shotted.
True! Where? Like right here?
I hawk-shot to see if the Corki was coming.
Nice.
See right there?
I think even if, I think it was also a safer fight because we knew that Echo, had no mana, had no HP.
Right.
So he basically couldn't do anything. I mean, maybe Gragas, but I don't know if we were tracking Gragas TP. Maybe that could have been a problem, but
Maybe.
I think it was definitely clear that it was mostly going to be 3v3, or at least Echo was not going to be in the fight for sure.
Right. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because that is just more good evidence that you guys have pointed out that this is not as bad of a mistake from that compared to the Game 1 mistake. Midlane's answered, botlane's answered. Swagger!
Sorry.
Are you rolling around in your bed?
No, I'm I think my mic's just going near my mouth because I'm having wired headphones.
Oh,
that's my
okay,
bad.
okay. You're good.
He's changing his tuxedo.
True. Alright, great. We get the grubs. Let's take a look at our swap conditions. Free solo kill from Lizard, big?
I think we decided not to swap.
Okay. Do you remember why?
At least not until the next wave.
It's just the wave stage.
Well, he just gotten killed, and they were just clearing it back and forth, so we didn't really have good buys, I don't think, and so we just stayed for an extra wave.
Yeah, because this is just Yuntal components on Ashe. It's not very happy. Yeah, also at the same time, this turns into a freeze. They just catch this wave and hold it.
Do I have Yuntal after this?
Nah, I don't think so.
No? Oh, yeah, no, I don't.
Well, maybe. I don't think so, no.
No.
I think Yuntal's 9.
So I have to buy the
recurve, the bow thing. Yeah.
Slingshot looking item to be 750.
Yeah. Okay. Greeting for the plate just a little bit, but it's fine. This is a good example, right? Hey, if we hold this top wave into a freeze and boss side has a crash, Jax can just literally TP over here and just send Ashe Braum into bot side. So, is this the end of the world? No. I think we do have to, if this wave is going to crash, as Lizard is getting the plate. Let's see. I think the best case scenario is that Brown Joe holds this freeze. Jax gets the reset. He TPs over to the wave as soon as he channels his reset. And then that way Ashe is reset a little bit, maybe 5 seconds before Jax actually gets here. And then Ashe is walking to this lane. Brown Joe at tier 2 by the time that Ashe arrives. And then Ashe is chilling, doesn't die to the Gragas. And he gets that whole wave here. So, we just need more work, more practice on setting up the swaps back and forth. But 100% you guys are getting really good at it. We'll get even better at it. We see both side lanes. We're looking for the Ashar. Misses. It is what it is.
I didn't land very many.
Yep.
Alright, Mike, we're used to it.
Shut your mouth.
Alright, sorry.
That was rude.
Yeah, I take it back.
Yeah, you guys are supposed to be nice to each other.
Nah, dude, fuck Lizard.
NT.
Everyone else, dude, I'm cool with.
This is a really good fight for you guys. Pretty happy about this.
Yeah, no, I mean, this was not a good fight. I really needed a reset here because I had an item. But then, I think we were, trying to make a play bot, which is why, I kind of needed to stay. And I couldn't get a reset off. So that's why I kind of got caught here by the
The
Zinzao.
random
And then we
W
ended
into the bush.
Yeah. And then
No,
we just ended up
he put a
fighting.
ward in, no?
I guess he saw me from there, yeah.
Yeah, I guess
Oh,
it's
yeah,
already
might
for,
have seen.
the split second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I really needed to reset, and then I would have got item, and I would have been ready for the next Drake. But then like this play like kind of fucked me up. Yeah, I don't know. I think like when the Vi was like going bot or like looking for like anything bot, I thought I needed to stay with my ult. But I probably should have communicated that better.
Yeah. So like here, let me take a look. One of the things, and this is like, oh, what's up? What's up, Buck?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I thought there was gonna be a pause in there. Never mind. If there's room after this, do you mind if I say something? But
Just
for
say
now,
no.
I'll let you
You're good.
obviously do. Oh, I was gonna say like, what the fuck are we doing, dude? Like, why are we ulting the flash, like the Corki with flash and cleanse when Vi isn't even in range to follow up, dude? Like what? Like, just chill the fuck out, bro. You're a spaz. What are we gonna do here?
I think we were trying to burn the cleanse for Brommel.
Straight to me, it's like your ult for cleanse, and then like he's like your ult is the only thing he can cleanse, man.
yeah.
So,
real quick, Adrenaline is DMing me what I thought as well. They were bullying Mike into Ring. They're like Mike R, and then he just like flipped it out. So
I didn't.
if you're gonna R anyone, R the Leona.
Oh yeah, I don't think I was gunning for the. And this is something that we didn't do in game because it was like on the spot. But I didn't. If there's an 80 carry that has that, you know, like and Vi is on top of Leo, like just R her. But I don't have time to like say that
it's
in the game.
fault.
Yeah,
Adrenaline is being
Let's
super.
show-
We're just like pull the trigger. It just
Well, you don't even have to start with fucking Ash ult then. Just start with Vi R on the Leona and then kill her. And then, yeah, sure, what happens here is you dump 2 ults, but then now Leona is dead. And you guys get free push bot lane, and then E-Swag can reset and TP back mid, and you guys just play Dragon.
True.
And it's a 5v4.
True.
Anyways, that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, it's just
Good stuff,
unfortunate. I just overstay here, and then
Yeah.
this is just a very bad fight. Like it's just unfortunate that Zen just pats from mid too when I'm trying to recall. Like that guy recalled in TP, and I just caught the wave, and I knew how to TP, so I wanted to TP as well. I just couldn't get a base off. I probably should like walk back further in base.
Yeah, exactly. Your feeling that you need to contribute to this play causes you more harm than good, right? If you just walk off and back into fog towards your tower, and then reset, and then TP to this play, now you have mana, right? Now you have your buy. Now you can help with the team to the the highest value. One of the things that like happens, in solo queue especially, oh, my teammate is in trouble. I need to help him. And then you walk in with bad conditions, and everyone gets fucked over.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep. Yeah, I guess what I did like about this fight is just like, not bad on the CC. There's a little bit of a bouncy castle right here. But okay, we turn over to Corki. Mike lives, chilling. Okay, and then here. Everyone insta resets. You guys are piss low. They're dead. You guys have at least like 2.5k unspent gold here. Easily that. Or we got like 3.3k gold unspent here. So everyone take the reset. Use that death timer on their side to reassert conditions, and then we can just take the Drake again. If that's a desync from our Rift Herald timer, alright, it is what it is. It's not the end of the world. But we do lose out really fucking hard here on this play because we get really greedy with this. Okay, so other thing too, yeah, pull it out, right? Especially after we see this ward here, they know. So it's time to pull this ward out and prevent the 50-50. But it's not even a 50-50 at this point, right? Because Adrenaline just needs to talk about his smite timer. And so this turns into a 95-5 against us. Pulled out. Reset. Make sure you're a smite. Adrenaline's complaining in my DMs, guys.
What's he complaining about?
I don't know yet.
His keyboard stopped working.
He said, don't you dare do it. I think he was afraid I was gonna continue to flame him.
Oh, no. It's like, dude, if anyone says that the correct call is to do dragon there, they're wrong, and they should feel terrible. True.
Oh, this is the nightmare
Nice.
scenario for them.
True.
I guess it wasn't the end of the world. I guess it was only just one Drake. But yeah, it's still not a good thing.
Yeah. Good job, Lizard. Alright, and then this guy fucking loses his mind trying to kill you.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe he got a little overzealous, not realizing I was 4 levels ahead of him.
Yeah, I mean, you have Counter-Strike by now, for sure, so...
Mm-hmm. I was just waiting for his 3rd auto so that I could use it.
Yep. Who did we lose? We lose Buck?
Little fucking piggy.
Yeah.
No! Shit. Unfortunate. Okay, let's take a look here. You guys decide to look for a bot side play because we see everyone dead and on top side. Oh! Unfortunate. Low key, I think just to secure this and make it easier, we just R first, and then Ash R second. And
Yeah, I
then-
probably should have walked around as well.
Exactly. I was
I
just
thought,
gonna say that.
like, they were... Yeah, the wave was, like, kind of dying slow, so I was like, oh, maybe I need to, like, hit the wave as well. But that's kind of why I, like, hit the wave.
We
Yeah,
talked
yeah.
about this in pregame.
That's a good
Buy
thing
all
to
into
identify.
Ashall.
True. I did say that. Swag, one good thing to think about. So I like that you were able to identify the information correctly, right? It's a pretty big wave, so it's going to take a while to kill this. But because we have so many death timers on their team, the reaction is not to get to the wave faster, but to cut them off deeper. Because if they see this wave, right, as is, and it's pretty healthy, that's their timer to start running away. So if you cut them off deep, you go here, around here, now they are fucked. Now they are 100% fucked. There's no way for them to escape.
I guess it's, like, it's also, like, even if I cut them off, it's, like, one thing, but, like, if they run away, we also just get, like, a tier 1 bot. So it's, like, not the end of the world that, like, I didn't, like, go around, if that makes sense. Like, they have to, like, lose the tier 1 bot anyways, if we're, like, accelerating the wave to get to their turret.
It's not the end of the world, but taking a different route is such a lower it's such a minimal cost compared to taking one route over the other is such a minimal cost about the choices that you have to make. So, and you get so much after killing these guys under their tower and killing the tower that, yeah, not the end of the world that you take a different route, but 100% this would have been a really good, really good utilization of your aggression.
I have a bit of an off-topic. It's off-topic, but it's not at the same time. Do we have access to the ability to look at replays of, like, other teams?
If you're friends with them.
Gosh darn it.
Yep.
What a stupid question.
Did you ask that earlier?
So why are you asking it again?
I don't know.
You guys are funny.
I wanted to look at Laughing Cloud's game so we could see, like, what kind of,
True.
find their weak spots.
Someone's got to get friends with them, dude. Infiltrate their lines. Okay.
I'm gonna add one of them.
So here's a little bit of our misstep in our lane assignments, right? Jax has TP in 56 seconds. Rift Herald is spawning in about 50 seconds. So we should reset here. Jax starts running bot lane. Galley runs over to top side, and boom, we got a little bit better of a lane assignment so that we can TP Jax over this Rift Herald fight, secure a little bit more pressure. And the world, never, especially not here. Could be better, yeah. Let's see how this plays out. one thing I want to emphasize, guys, this shallow vision is whatever. Like, it's fine. But the problem is that if we start playing for this, by the time that we see him here, or see anyone walking in here, it's basically too late, right? This ward, valuable. This ward, hella valuable. This ward over this wall, here, valuable as fuck. This one is super crazy value. This is like the forbidden ward. Like, these are the forbidden wards. They're really good, but they're just too deep, to be honest, with this like kind of lane state. So avoid these river wards, because the reality is, if you guys are doing Rift Herald, in what world do you not have someone just sitting here? Right? So keep that in mind. Pretty good take. I like it. Drake is coming up. Now it's okay for Jax to be topside. Okay, big.
Wait, I can look at their games.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because they played against Egg Whites. Or not Egg Whites, they played against Julian and the other guy.
Oh, nice.
So I actually do have their VODs.
Big. This is another smite scenario. Unfortunate. Okay, so pull it out. Have someone over the side. So pull it out. Hold the Drake HP to like 3k so you can't burst it, or have someone on this side of the pit. If we send Braum on the side of the pit and he knocks up Shin's out, I don't care if he dies. Just make it happen so that this doesn't get stolen. And when we chase them afterwards, whatever, it's fine. Rifting on mid, not bad. Chill. And then we should just be able to getting out here. Oh, we're all here. Okay. Galio was ready for this. Nice. Because we should all be, like, playing off here, right? There's no way this Rift Herald should be getting another charge unless they literally ignore it. And so we should just be taking this reset opportunity to then just prepare for Otacon defense. But Swag is ready for the R. I think we're a little bit tilted. We're not tilted, but we're just trying to make something happen because we didn't get the Drakes. And then Swag comes in. Not bad.
Yeah, that was a little bit too deep. A little bit too deep. Yeah. Ideally, I think this is the. Was this the game that we were talking about, the number of Rift Herald charges? But I think Adrenaline's and it was kind of hard to.
Oh, the one
gauge
beforehand.
that.
I think the first one was the one where we didn't connect after this Rift Herald charge.
Oh, okay, it was that one? Well, yeah, I mean, I guess it's like the same thing. We kind of just have to, like, once the Rift Herald's like 200 HP, we just all have to, like, pull back, I guess.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, like, it wasn't, like, the end of the world. I mean, like, if Adrenaline didn't die, I think we definitely take Otacon there, but, we just went a little bit too deep.
Yeah. Okay, let's take a look here. We're all kind of pushing out these waves here on the same timer, which is not bad. But this is kind of a lesser version of what I was talking about after the game 1 review. That whoever it resets first and has good tempo will get punished because they're pushing out the waves too hard. And so we gotta be a little bit careful here on this top side. Galio is like walking off, that's fine, but you are the single target here, Mr. Lizard, so you gotta be really careful. Does this turn into something really good for us? Yeah. They send 4. We get 1, not bad. We take this. The only problem here is that, Lizard, guess what? You were worth 1k gold. So, you have to, unironically, just because that we're playing for this Otacon, you have to push in one wave and then run. Because they want to come kill you so bad. So, you running away, you get one wave, you run away, that means 4 people are going to chase after you in this kind of scenario, and then you are just, like, feeling so good about yourself.
Yeah, I guess that was kind of like the same thing that, like, similar to like one of the Scrim games where the Gwen just got 1k and she was able to like carry the game from there. We have to be really careful about like who we give the bounties to, because some champions can just run away with it, even if they're like at a deficit.
Yeah, true. Okay, here comes the Drake. Okay, common theme. I think this is okay, because like Jax can TP in, Galio can TP in, But just gotta be careful. We play for this like 3-man trap a lot, where we have 3 people here, our jungle AD carry support trying to look for a pick, and our side lanes might not be in the best position. Like I think if this wave is crashed, Galio maybe is able to walk here. I think this gets a little bit better.
Yeah, I was about to say that if we were to wait to do this, like 20 seconds later, when I'm actually hitting their tier 2, like it's so bad for them.
Right.
I think they go on us though. No, isn't that what happens?
No.
Well, no, in the
Isn't that
sense
what
that
I'm
we're in their jungle.
Yeah,
It gives them the opportunity to.
Right.
It's not even about us
Right,
doing
that's
it.
fair.
we clear this ward here, and then we walk over here, and then we clear this ward, and then we see them here, and they put 2 pink wards here, and then we try to clear both of these. Right, so we're like putting our dick in their face and be like, yeah, we're fucking here now, bro. So it is what it is.
Dude,
We gotta get more safer.
they go.
I think when it even
crazy
comes
on-
down to this, right? Like when we're playing in choke points, we always need to front to back because we left Mike alone.
Yeah, we'll talk about
and
that in a
was-
second. I think that's actually a good point. Wait, Mike, what were you saying?
Oh, dude, they just went fucking berserk for me. Like, they just sprinted at me.
Oh, okay, yeah, we're talking about the dive. Yeah. Then yeah, 100%, guys. Just like in swag to your point. What were you gonna say?
When we're playing in chokes, we just need to front to back. Like I know, like Adrenaline just goes in with the Vi ult, trying to like, but like we can't, like the Ashe isn't just mobile enough, or like doesn't have range to really like connect onto the Corki there, right?
Right.
So it's like then like Brahms left to like, and then the Xin just gets like an E onto the Ashe, and like I'm trying to like peel back as well with my W and Kit, and then he dies. So like even if we get their back line, it's just that like in future fights we just need to have the idea that we need to front to back to keep our carry alive, because they can't like tear through our front line.
Exactly. We just have a lot of tools to peel off their divers, right? So like, even if they do dive on Ashe, in theory, if we play Prince for back, just like we're talking about, it should just be a win con for us. So yeah, keep that in mind. Pretty good here. We should be playing on one objective. So we either all 3 play for this tier 2, and we get that local gold, or we all just play for this Drake. And that way we get a little bit better for timers.
Yeah, I realized that I didn't have the damage to take the turret, so I kind of just went for the Drake here.
Yeah. Okay, Baron coming up at 25. Who's going to be our person on the bot side? It should be Jax. We have TP on no one. Scrambling over here. Someone should be going here on bot side.
Yeah, that was kind of the thing. I was thinking about sacking that bot tier 1 just for like Baron control, but I guess because I didn't have TP as well. I think I used TP to TP bot.
It should be
Kinda
Jax
my
being
bad.
here. Like, it actually makes a lot of sense. Galio wants to be here with the team, or at least fogging around the team, so that he can R. If you want to be here and you have R, that's fine. If you want to be here and play with the team and then play for your like flash W, that's fine. Jax needs to be here on bot side, even though that you like no one has TP. Especially because no one has TP, right? If no one has TP, then Jax should put Jax there.
I think it's better for me to be with them because I am like our most accelerated member by far. Like I'm 4 levels ahead of everybody on their team except Echo.
No, but on my
It's like
champion,
I just
like,
pissed
more
off
of
the
the peel
fight.
champion. Like my champion is just like
No,
you see so much peel. I think you're. Like,
No, I know.
What Akira's trying to say is like your sideline threat is like it has to produce 2 people. So like there's no point of you like fighting like with the team if you can just bring 2 people to your side, and like even if you die, we just get the Baron, and that's still a win for us.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's more so it's just like if they don't come to me and like I am able to get, let's say like 1 turret and I'm not able to be at the fight and you guys lose the fight and we lose Baron, then
But maybe it's just my sideline.
like worst case scenario, we lose the fight without me, we lose the Baron, and then I get 1 turret bot for it.
Yeah, because like in simplest terms, the first part I was gonna say before you guys were talking is that Jax can kill towers, Galio can't. So if we don't have any TP, it's better for Jax to be there. But in regards to your point about how if you go bot here because you have TP, you don't have TP, and you're a lot of the team's golds, you can't come over and help them. That just means that we need to be played differently on this side of the map. If you're going to be down here, we can't aggress. We can't be aggressive until you're pushing, until people show. And then we need to pull all the way back. Hey, they're trying to like pressure us into a fight on mid? No, we're not going to take that. We're going to pull it back, let people show, and then we're going to do something about it. So yeah, good points.
Oh yeah, because if we were to wait to fight or do anything until I'm like hitting their tier 2, I mean it's
Right.
lose-lose for them.
Just like this one, right?
Because by then I'll have inhib even if we lost the fight.
Yeah. Looks good, guys. Alright, literally we should just be going straight to Baron and then ending this game. Alright, Lizard, are you trolling a little bit?
I needed gold.
The 500 gold you're not going to spend, true?
One more wave.
True.
You're lucky I didn't take that whole next wave. Come on. That's good. What
do you call it? Okay, true. Improvement.
I think we were like okay with like taking those like Baron recalls as well because of the shortened recall, like just taking like that one extra wave. I don't think it's too big of a deal.
I would have taken 2 extra waves.
I want you guys to play for the wave if you need it to get a really crazy spike. Like let's say like if Lizard had the money for Zhonya's to finish his Zhonya's here and he needs this wave, okay, yeah, absolutely take it. But if you're just taking waves to get waves and then you just sit on here and you have 500 gold that you're not going to spend anyway, okay, you're just you're just not him. You're just not him. The way like we should be thinking here at this point in the game is that if we have Baron, this game is over. Get whatever you need to get. Like here, elixirs, right? If you think about elixirs in the sense that they slow down your 6-item purchase, you don't understand how elixirs work, right? Because elixirs should give you a really fucking big spike at a very short amount of gold so you can end the game, right? So you can end the game.
I didn't even think about getting an elixir. God damn it.
True. Yeah, in fact, like, how many people have elixirs here? Because we should all just have elixirs. Deadass. None.
How much gold is everyone sitting on? I don't know.
Enough, probably.
I don't have enough for an elixir.
No, actually, 3
No, only 2 people have enough
Only
for
2 people.
elixirs.
But let's see like what we buy here. Because if we buy crap, then it's not worth it. Because like
Well,
elixirs
I think I finished my item.
elixirs
And then I
are
bought
really
gold.
good for 500 gold.
Wait, I bought something. What did I buy?
But amplifying tone.
Yep, that would be a bad use case.
Wait, what the fuck did I buy?
What did you buy? Maybe you did buy elixir.
I might have, bro. I might be the goat.
No, you bought your boots, right?
Yeah. So boots and elixir would have been crazy here.
That would have been crazy. Yeah. Then the wave is worth it. Then I'm actually be like, yeah, thumbs up, man. Get that fucking wave.
Yeah, I did. That's what I did, but the game bugged.
Yeah, I guess for next
What?
year we should
What?
be more cognizant.
What?
The game didn't let me buy.
Game broke.
Guys, we're putting Lizard in the stockades. Who's got mushy tomatoes? What the fuck?
The game just doesn't show it. I bought
What?
it, dude. Trust me.
You have a disease. Don't laugh.
The
don't laugh,
replay
guys.
just doesn't show it.
Yeah.
Guys,
I
guys,
spent all my gold there. Trust me.
Don't encourage him. Don't encourage him.
No, that's hilarious.
It's just jokes.
Game bugged. It's funny because you almost got away with it. Alright.
Yeah, I shouldn't have.
And then now we're just gonna clear this game out, right? Okay, see, this is what you're talking about, Swag, right? Like giving up the tier 1 here. I really like that you guys give the tier 1 because it's just not relevant for winning the game, you know. So just like shove them in.
Yeah, it just slows it down so much.
Yeah.
If you do that.
Yeah, I think this is a mistake to be up this far. And we paid price for it. But
No, we won this.
This is good.
I mean, we lose a jungler for the support. Like, we lose our jungler for the support. I don't think that's a good trade. Like, we should have waited for
That's just the
Blizzard
adrenaline.
to hit the tower, or like be on the tower more, and then go in.
Maybe. But to be honest, like, okay.
No, I
At
think
this
it's fine.
point- yeah, at this point in the game, you guys are so fucking strong. Just slap them with your wallets. Take the gold bar that you have on your back and just smash their teeth in, right? Like, they can't do anything here, right? It's a Corki Echo Shinzao composition. They have no late game presence. So if you lose people here, sure, man, do it for the victory. You know, there's going to be heroes at the end of the war, and Adrenaline might be one of those heroes. So
Yeah, I was only 5 levels ahead of everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, I'm 5 levels ahead of Corky and Gragas.
Yep. All right, and then this is our last fight. Oh, let's play through mid here, gentlemen. Okay, guys, this is a really big theme here, right? Our mid jungle AD carry, sorry, not mid jungle. Our jungle AD carry support are like fist fighting as a group of 3 with like no attention to where our side lanes are or what our side lanes are doing, if they can roam or not, right? Because Galio doesn't have R here. He has TP. Jax has TP, sure, but there's 5 people here on mid, or at least 4, and we're just being like, yeah, let's fucking fist fight. It's literally
so
5.
one of us should have
walked.
walked through mid. One of us should have walked through mid. Me or Jack should have walked through mid.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, probably should have.
We don't need 2 people going to boss side. But my big thing I want to point out is this theme, right? My AD carry, my support, my jungler are fighting at the same time without paying attention to where our rest of our team is. So really keep that in mind for next scrim, guys. I don't want to see these 3 just like fist fighting for poor reasons, right? Because like if you guys are fist fighting to like cover mid, if you guys are 3-man defending mid and they 5-man dive you, okay, sweet, great, guys. Like that is totally fine because that buys us enough time for the soul laners to get here, and now we can fuck shit up. But this is not okay. I mean, we get the kill anyway. It just doesn't matter. But like, be chill,
Yeah,
be chill. We're waiting.
If this is closer in gold,
I feel like we
yeah.
play this slow though. It's like
No,
they're not in
no.
a position where they're gonna, and if they are, then I just are. It buys time and Galio ults in, but it's
No, I
like
don't have ult
we're
there.
so
I don't have ult.
strong.
He doesn't
Only
have
have
Yeah,
ult.
they don't have
He doesn't
ult.
ult.
I only have TP.
This is the
I
worst
don't
choice
know.
out of all your winning. No, Brown Joe. This is the worst choice out of all the choices you could have possibly taken, except for like you 3-man run top. Okay, there are worse choices. This is one of the worst choices though. This is still a pretty fucking bad choice. Don't get this twisted, man. This is like pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been okay if one of the solo laners walked through mid. Then it would have been fine.
Yeah,
but then
exactly.
we didn't.
Yeah,
Because
connect
like
to the team.
in the scenario, what if this Gragas somehow ends up realizing like, hey, my ult does something, and then like ults Ashe into Zen, and then Ashe is just dead. Like if he's not
My
autoing minions.
No, Brown Joe, that's not realistic. Brown Joe, you're doing.
He doesn't stop Gragas ult.
Like realistically, like if this was a closer game, I think one of us would have walked through mid. I think maybe
Don't
we
think
were
it
a
does.
little bit more
Does it?
relaxed because we were 10k gold ahead.
Yep.
But like yeah, if this was a more serious game, like more closer game, I don't think this
Does
scenario
your-
would have happened.
Does your E stop Gragas ult?
I don't
I don't think it does.
No.
That'd be weird.
Yeah, Brown Joe, this is bad.
I think it turns out good. That's why it's so quick and easy to like defend. But it's like, it's really just that they suck.
True. They suck. And,
Yeah,
and,
like,
and the problem is that
10K ahead.
we keep saying the same problem over and over and over again, right? Jungle, AD carry support, 3-man fighting as a unit without any consideration about where side lanes are or soul laners are, right? That's not good. So like,
I think
don't
what
defend
Akira's trying to say is it's more of getting into a habit of doing it. Because it happened like 4 times in just that game,
Right.
or in that series. I should say in that game.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it on my responsibility.
No,
I didn't need to go.
no.
I didn't need to go on the sideline.
Yeah,
there.
yeah, that's true.
To be
Swag,
fair,
swag,
one
swag.
of us do have to take responsibility. That
I
we
shouldn't.
didn't
I
know
shouldn't
it.
have walked through. I should have walked through mid. Right.
Right,
Like
right.
in a moment like that, like when we are able to, like we need to 4-1. Right. Like we don't need to like. I don't need to be bot, even if I have TP.
Right.
It's just like, what am I gonna do in the bot lane? You know
Sure,
what I mean?
sure.
If I maybe I had like Rod or
But
something.
again, Drax is
I'd do more
not
damage.
But again, you're not the problem here, dude. You're not the problem. Let these 3 guys, these three guys, the jungle, the AD carry support, these are the guys that need to be responsible for this. 100%. All right, gentlemen, that's it for the Vod Review, guys. We went a little bit over. I was a little bit late. I was a lot of late. That was not okay. So
I was late.
yeah, you were late.
No, this is.
I was
this is
out
good.
cold.
This is definitely good. We just need to have some more games, and then
Yeah,
yeah.
we just need more games, guys. We just need more games.
One thing I would like to point out is, well, we never really played with a Galio. I guess it's more saying, like, can the Galio ult reach? Like, can he play for the wave and then, like, stand, you know,
ult.
like, in the middle? So, like, he can still ult?
He doesn't even have it.
Yeah,
I mean,
No,
if
I'm
I-
just saying
if
in
I-
general.
I'm
I'm
saying in
saying in
general.
general.
True.
Yeah, I'm
true,
saying in
true.
general.
Ah.
Because we
Maybe
never
like a
really
tier
played with
3
Galio.
ult. Maybe like a tier 3 ult. I don't know. No, definitely not like a tier 1. I don't know about tier 2. But probably like a tier 3. I could.
Yeah, I mean, he'd have to, like, if he pushes and walks into river, he can. But, like, not from lane.
Yeah. In fact, yo, Draxer, hey man, nice to meet you. I think we talked like really briefly on Wednesday, but I'm the coach for these guys. If you want to introduce yourself to us, I think that'd be sweet. This is like a perfect time because I think getting your feedback about what we could have done there, or why, or just your general opinion about that fight would have been pretty sweet for us.
You're talking about the one at the end?
Yeah. What do you think about our opinion or my opinion about the 3-man unit causing some problems there? Is that true? Is that not true? What would you think here? Let me take a look. This one here.
Well, I mean,
Let me stream it.
one thing that happens a lot, I mean, you don't need to stream it. I can see it in my head, unless you want others to see it. But
I want others to do it too.
the big thing about being super ahead is when all plays win, it's just hard to have discussions around, like this example, for example.
Okay.
Like if every play wins, then it's just hard for players to learn of like what's better, because it's
Sure.
just hard to wrap your head around like learning from that example. But in this case, if you're talking about, there's a reason why it's a little funny to ask the question, because if you're saying like optimal deploy, there's an answer, but then there's another question of like, do you guys even want to learn the optimal deploy, because it's like it might be too many steps ahead. I think if you're trying to make this simpler, then yeah, you guys just putting 4 people through mid and then 1 person on side is like pretty standard. But already the weird question is, why did my 3-core not deploy through mid? They deployed through jungle.
Right. See, that was my point as well. Like, you're talking about this group here, right?
Yeah, because you guys are up 10k, right? So let's just imagine like Jax, Galio have TP.
Yeah.
And my 3 people ran through mid here and just fight 3v5. And if the enemy tries to engage with Xin or Gragas or Leona, you just rip double teleport and wipe them off the map.
True.
Maybe we're walking through here because of the Drake. I think we were planning for Drake because Drake was spawning soon.
Well, I mean,
as well, 10 seconds.
If they put 5 people into the dragon pit and you guys get pushed mid bot, you can just walk down and end the game.
Yeah, that's true.
So you don't really have to worry too much about that. So it's just, to me, the funniest picture here is that there's 3 people in the river when there's like a mid wave.
Yep, I agree.
I mean, yeah, that's just the wave management play. We just have to play through wave and then get the vision. But we went for vision first.
But if you guys are saying, like, again, this is why when you're talking about improving, you have to really isolate things to improve at them. So here, if you're saying that it's a common pattern where your 3-core that you're talking about are constantly taking fights down numbers, then this is an example of that, sure. And you just say, like, okay, for the next X amount of games or days or whatever, I want you guys to never take a fight down numbers ever again. You could do that and just have them practice that. But it just depends on what you guys are working on. That's why, like, when you ask me, like, what's the best play here, the best play doesn't matter for you guys at all. Like, it's not even relevant. It just depends on what you guys are working on.
Okay. Yeah, so then I guess, like, you gave me the answer to the question that I should have asked. Yeah, 3-core. I never want to see you guys fighting like down in man ever again. No more disadvantaged numbers kind of fights, especially when we're this ahead. No, not even in an if then.
The thing is,
always.
Like, you have double teleport, so technically they're not down numbers here if you are willing to rip both teleports.
Yeah, and then I think that would be a good point to like the midpoint of your answer, because it's like they have done this play regardless if side laners had answers or not. So I think they could just cope and say, like, yeah, in this example we did have TP, but I would be very confident that they didn't know that at the time.
Yeah, and that's fine. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
But yeah, like tracking numbers and making sure that you don't fight down numbers is like one of the bread and butter things about competitive league. Like even at the academy level, the teams are still struggling with that. Different picture, but it's like the same idea. In the end, league is literally a game of create a numbers advantage, try to force a fight, and the enemy team is like try not to let them have it, and that's like the whole game from 0 to Nexus exploding. So everyone across the whole world, even T1, is working on that in some shape or form.
True. Absolutely.
Big dubs.
Guys, if you didn't know, Draxer's a new face here at Ceases Gaming. He knows Bach pretty well. He's going to be helping out when he can, so he does have the roles for this team. Draxter has had a lot of experience in LCS, so definitely a guy to look out to. If you got a lot of questions, maybe ask him if you can ask him. That could be a good look for us. But, okay guys, that's it. That's the end of the VOD review for tonight. Tomorrow, I know